I like it.
I know.
Get it down in Clearwater.
I love it.
It's very you.
It's a good hat, right?
Yes.
I
it's
know.
a
I'm
very
excited
good
about
hat.
it. All right. Hey.
Make sure you're.
Oh, don't worry about me. You're the star.
What's up, guys?
My eyes at least. Are you ready?
Yeah. Let me tweet these bad boys.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
All right.
Boom. All right, let's roll.
Okay.
All right. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Sportsbook and Casino app, Elliott Shore Parks. James Seltzer with you. It's the Parks Pick Spot, the Bet Parks.
The Bet Parks Pick Spot.
What's up, buddy? What's going on, pal?
I have so many original thoughts today.
Oh, I'm happy to know that your thoughts today are original, as normally they're not.
Yes, normally they're just,
that's the implication here.
Yes, whatever Kristen tells me.
I'm wearing my new hat.
It looks good.
Training. What do you guys think? Pretty good, right?
You know, I was thinking about this with hats. It is a very nice hat. You should show them the logo.
The logo. Look at that.
Your show, yeah.
Boom!
Show them the back.
Boom.
Well, it is almost time. It is almost Philly
little
season.
meshy type thing going on there.
It's a very you hat.
It is a very you hat.
I've gotten very into hats recently. Maybe it's a sign we're getting older.
I only got it because I just needed a hat. Like I'm not super into hats. I really don't wear hats.
Me either. I mean, you know me how many years?
I like having a Phillies hat.
Yeah,
it works.
I agree.
I had one forever, and I beat the earmuffs 1, 2, 3. I beat the shit out of it.
It's rude.
And it is destroyed now. So I need a new Phillies hat.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
I like the maroon. Yeah, it's good.
So,
well, and look,
I got to do this. I got a Phillies pot after. You know how big.
I got a Sixers pot after.
Look at us! Look at us talking about
we're
all
almost
3 great teams.
I was gonna say I have a Union hoodie on. We're like 4 for 4 today.
We are. Oh, I like what you did
like that?
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
you like that?
Oh, buddy.
Thank you.
That's good. That's good. All right, so let's talk some Eagles. We're gonna get into some gambling in a little bit. I promised a little trick. For
a
the
little
tournament.
Sixers gambling thing I noticed today too. By the way.
All right, so Sixers gambling. Trick for the tournament that I'll be honest will work much better for the first round next year.
I was gonna say now that you're telling everybody about it,
it'll work much better for the first round next year. But it was awesome, so I'm gonna share with you guys. And then we'll talk about the tournament itself, as there are some games tonight.
Yes,
it's back. Sweet 16 starts. But first, some quick Eagles thoughts before we dive into the gambling stuff. Do you want to start with Bijan? Or you want to start?
I was gonna say so. My Bijan one is quicker.
Let's start with Bijan.
Okay.
Because so this comes from initially me texting Elliot.
That's where it came from. Yeah,
came from this that. I'm starting to think
you're in.
All right, I can't.
Don't say start. You want to draft Bijan Robinson at 10. Don't just go in. That's obviously how you feel. I know the smart part of you is saying, but like
the smart part of me says this is
just
crazy.
Say it. Yeah.
This is an asinine thing to do. We have the 10th pick in the draft. The amount of prospects who can make a big difference in important positions is crazy. But man,
you're in.
It would be fun to
have
this dude. He's really good. He's really good. And to the point, it stuck with me when we talked about it the other day a little bit when we just, glazed over it quickly. Your line just about, hey, teams this good don't usually have the time.
I've been thinking about that a lot too.
It really stuck with me.
Yeah,
man.
I've been thinking about a lot that too.
Where are you at on the Bijan?
Well,
because I'm not there yet. But like, let's be honest, we're still a month away from the draft. By the end of April, I'll be.
Yeah. So,
and I feel so dumb.
For those that listened to the pod yesterday, I did an analogy about buying a car, right?
Yep.
Did I ever tell you about the first time I bought my car? Like my first time I ever purchased a car?
No.
Okay. So I went into the lot and I was like, I'm only going to spend this much. And I walked away. I was like 18 at the time. Some absurd age. I shouldn't have been buying a car, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to do it. They called me back a few days later and they're like, all right, we'll do the price you want. I'm like, what a victory. So I go in, you're going to buy the car, and they're like, well, actually, it's like this much. And then now it's, now it's going to be this.
So you got.
So here's what happened. So we're sitting at the table, and the guy that I'm negotiating with, it's like, I forget, it went from like $200 a month when I walked in to thinking now it was like $280, right? And so I'm like, I just can't do this. And he's like, well, you were just going to do $270 because I was. And then I'm like, yeah, but now it's $280. And he's like, that's one less pizza a month. And he stands up, he slams the table. He's like, be a man. Like, this is your moment. And I bought the car, right?
You just got
I bought the car, right?
So
here,
shout out to that salesman.
He did well, right?
He knew exactly what.
Oh my God! Yeah, but here's the.
I just wonder about how many like 16.
He's probably just
like that was like a form speech.
He's like the MILF manner of car salesman, but. So here's where I'm going back with Bijan with that. I can talk big and say, oh, you don't take it at 10. It's not the smart thing to do. Everybody that listens to this pod knows me. I love offense. Yeah. I'm not a huge believer in Rashad Penny. Like, ultimately, if I was Howie and I was sitting there at 10, and, it's months away, although it's not months away at this point. It's
a month.
Yeah, months.
It's a month away.
I understand if Jalen Carter's there, you seriously have to consider it. I really like the defensive tackle from Pitt. Like, I'm not saying Bijan Robinson is like clearly the question, clearly the answer at 10. But I'll tell you this: I would take him over the corners.
So he is going to be the best player on the board when they draft if they stay at 10. I mean, just
you can make the argument he'll be the best player on the board.
Well, Daniel Jeremiah, who we all respect, and not that he gets everything wrong, but I think if you're looking at the people out there, about Kuipers out there and stuff. But personally, when I look at the rankings of players, and again, we do our best to learn these guys and the time we have for the draft, but we're
not draft experts.
Exactly.
We know positional value. We can look at players. Exactly. We can read about them, but
Daniel Jeremiah is, at least for me, the guy that I respect the most.
I agree. I trust his opinion.
He is Bijan Robinson is the third best player in this draft.
Yeah.
The third best player in this draft. Like, that hit me. I was like, whoa, man. Like, that's, and then you think about, all right, is it the best use of resources? Maybe not, but you're going to get this guy for 5 years because he'll be a first round pick at an affordable price. Like, if you have a chance to potentially have one of the, 2 or 3 best running backs in football for the next 5 years, theoretically, and I know there's injuries and all this stuff that happens, like, to add to your point, and you're really winning me just because of the way the cards have been dealt with the thing, but like, I'm all in on you got to win with offense. I mean, he's got to win with offense.
And I think their defense will be fine.
I think it'll be fine, but like, you just need a few stops. You need to score all the points.
Yeah.
And like, the idea of
think about
dude who could do everything. You can catch, you can block, you can do all this stuff. Like,
well, think about this in the Super Bowl, right?
I'm very intrigued.
Think about this with the Super Bowl. The offense played really well. What's the one area of the team that struggled?
They couldn't run the ball.
And who didn't play well?
Yeah,
Miles didn't play well, right? So
he barely played.
Right. So, and here's another part of this too. That where, again, I'm not saying I'm in yet, but one thing to consider is, so they took Jordan Davis last year.
Be a man!
I know, yeah, right. By the end, I'll be saying do it. I mean, honestly, I would do it now. But
I'm close, man. I'm way close. I thought there was a 0% chance that I would get there, and I'm already like almost there.
Yeah. But the point about them being a Super Bowl team in the top 10 is a legitimate one when discussing.
Yeah,
but
it's the best point that's been made.
But there's also an argument of like you should treat it for what it is, which is a 10th pick where you can. But
you have a chance to get a defensive, like a lineman who could be an impact player.
But think about this. Too. So last year they took Jordan Davis, right? Ultra athletic, defensive tackle, like checks the boxes in a lot of ways, other than the fact he can't rush the passer, which is a big box. But in terms of just important position, ultra, like, young, tons of upside, right? They got nothing from him last year.
Yeah.
So here would be my argument. We talk about this a lot with like contract value and windows. Like, realistically, if you can get a player that plays at a high level for 4 years, that's an amazing outcome. Mm-hmm. Like, there'll be years where guys are up, down, whatever. And I know certain players play longer. And ideally, you want someone like Lane Johnson's played for almost 10 years now, right? So that's what you want, right? Yes. But if you could say to Howie, whoever you take at 10, you are going to get 4 stud years out of.
Oh, it's a win.
Right? And I think with Bijan Robinson, he's probably the closest thing because, A, he's super talented, but he also is walking into a situation where we've seen subpar. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Miles Sanders just got $25 million by being on.
Yeah. I mean, if you put Bijan Robinson on this offense, like
he's arguably like an all-pro running back.
Right? Yeah. I mean, he put up insane numbers.
Like running backs succeed early. Like that can really, you could step right into the, I mean, Saquon's best year is still his rookie year, right? I mean,
and now the Giants have gotten nothing out of, well, they made the playoffs last year and Saquon was a part. So that's not completely true.
And also Dave Gettleman was their GM and they also took Saquon with the second pick in the draft and put him on a horrible team.
But what's funny about the Dave Gettleman thing is, not to get on a tangent, but like they ended up re-signing Daniel Jones and re-signing Saquon. So ultimately,
they franchised Saquon, but
true, but they brought him back at a high number. Now, the money part of the Bijan Robinson thing is if you take him at 10, and I should look up what the contract is at number 10 overall. It might not be super cheap.
It's actually pretty expensive.
Yeah, like for a running back. Yeah. Now, you're not giving him $13 million for 1 year, but you are probably giving
like
him
7, something.
I was going to say, 5, 6, something like that. So anyway.
I was talking about the end of the contract. He's getting like 7, 8, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, but then the 5th year option will probably be expensive. So anyway, I think that
it's intriguing.
Yeah, if you remove, and you could argue it's overthinking it, but if you remove all the elements of taking a player in the draft, the simplest way to take a player at the draft is this guy's awesome and he'll be good for us. Bijan checks both of those boxes probably more than any other player, right? Like Jalen Carter's awesome. I get the logic. Who knows? Like he could be a red flag guy. Like that could be a problem, right?
Yeah.
These cornerbacks aren't going to play next year. And who even knows if they're going to be ultimately that good, right? A running back, and for a team that we agree has to, their window to win is it's next year and then further, but
it hurts his career.
He will come in and be an instant impact player for this offense.
He could help them win a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. And I don't think you could say that for Jalen Carter maybe. And any player that contributes, I guess, helps. But Bijan could come in and be the best running back in the NFL next year.
Bijan could maybe be the offensive rookie of the year.
Correct.
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. And then when you add it all up, Hurts is young, Devontae's young, Goddard's young,
the offense
AJ's young, Bijan would be young.
Look.
Think about from that to where they were in 2019.
I can't believe and let me be clear. I do not think they will do it.
I don't know about that.
I'm not saying that it's a lock that they won't. There's no way how he does it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you ask me to bet my house right now, do they or do they not take him? And I know that's a bad odds, but you know what I mean? Like I do not think he will be the pick. I'm just saying.
The other Daniel Jeremiah part of this is
connection to the front office.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Sure.
And again, they would have taken McCaffrey. They almost took Dalvin Cook at the top of the second round. They took Miles.
They took Miles in the second round. They took Shady in the second round.
Right.
I mean, they've shown that the second round is not too early for them for running backs. I was just never done the first.
But I don't know. They trade back to 13.
And look, to the point you made, like really the only times they've ever really had a chance at an elite guy like this, it's been when they've had like clear, like you got to take a offensive lineman or whatever it is, and they don't. Like, yes, they need defensive tackles on this team. They need you, but like I'm sure that look, I am right there with them, and that I am not out on Jordan Davis. I know a lot of people are. I still believe in that.
I think it's fair to be skeptical, though.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I'm not. I think he's going to be good still. Or I still believe in the potential and all that. I'm sure the Eagles do, if nothing else. So that means that while we're sitting here like they got to take a young defensive tackle, like they might not be as concerned. They like Milton Williams. They like Jordan Davis. Like they might not be as concerned about that as we are, which could lead to that as well. All right. I want to get to your Hurts, though, because you have a Hurts contract on, and I do too. But first.
Yes. So if you missed the pod yesterday, we got a new part of it.
Shout out to Window Nation.
Window Nation is in the family. We are now a Window Nation pod as well. Parks, Window Nation. We are just, the family is growing.
It's growing.
And again, if you've listened to the pod, nothing scares me more than something happening to my house. So when we were told this was going to happen, I couldn't have been more thrilled. I'm having a siding issue on my house right now. It's nice to know that Window Nation is, going to be able to fix it, right? Like I can trust them to go and do it. So if you're listening to this, if you're a homeowner, if you're thinking about buying a house, we're helping you out. Window Nation is somebody that you need to know. It's a company you need to know. And the reason you need to know them is because they have an absolutely sick deal going on right now. I said yesterday, in my elder age, I've become more into 0% financing. It's basically like cheating. Like you just pay the same amount over a longer amount of time. So they have a great deal going on right now. And here's what it is. You get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. So you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free. 4 windows, I feel like, is a standard amount in a house, but I'm probably wrong about that.
4 windows in a house?
Yeah, because I probably have like 10.
Yeah. So I think most houses.
I think I'm thinking about when a kid draws a house, there's like 2.
Yeah, you're thinking about like a 2-dimensional.
So this is actually a chance to save way more money than I thought. Because you're
I mean, yes.
So you get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy.
Don't like stop and think for a sec, then use a little logic and be like,
Yeah, I got there.
You got there.
So anyway, houses have a lot of windows.
They do.
And the good person help the company, Window Nation. So again, 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. And like I said, 0 down payment, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. So essentially, you don't pay for 2 years for these windows, and you get them now. And you can trust them to do it because they've installed a ton of windows. They've been doing this for a long time. And new windows will pay for themselves with the energy savings on your energy bills. And again, you pay nothing for 2 full years with 0% financing, which saves you hundreds of dollars. So go with the window company that we trust, that millions have trusted. They've installed over 2 million windows. That's more than 1 million houses. That's, it's a lot of houses. Thank you.
That's well more.
Yes. Yeah. So how do you get in touch with them? 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. No payments, 2 years, 0% financing, 0 down payment. and tell him go Birds.
There you go. Tell him go Birds.
You could say Elliott Shore-Parks. You could say James Seltzer. You could probably honestly say real one. Like,
yeah, come and be like, I'm a real one, and then the person working the counter will be like, what?
And I think they'll know.
And then they'll know.
Because I will say this, they're listeners of the pod.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is cool. Which is very cool. Like it's nice to know, that the
family.
Yeah, exactly.
Real ones support real ones. Speaking of real ones, download the Bet Parks Sports.
Been saying this.
If you're a real one, you've downloaded it. So if you're new, download it.
Right.
Because I'm about to give you a trick for the NCAA tournament next year. And look, we're going to talk about the teams left. I have some strong thoughts on them. I know Elliot does too.
Mm-hmm.
Big time college basketball thoughts.
I always have been.
You always have been.
Always have been.
Yes. And also so much more that the future is coming out again next week, early in the week. The baseball over-unders pod. We're going to go through every team. I'm actually going to do some serious prep work for this. I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to come in. I'm going to tell you how you can make some money betting baseball, but you can't make money betting baseball unless you download the app. You can't make money betting soccer when Elliot gives out his gems unless you download the app. And then, of course, the tournament right now, Houston, Alabama, the two favorites. You can still bet on them to win the tournament. Betting on them now, you get 5-1 odds, 6-1 odds.
That is a nice part about the tournament, that you still get long odds.
You still get long odds. Like, that is a good bet.
There's nothing we love more than long odds.
Let me tell you. I think Alabama's winning the tournament.
I do too.
That's pretty good odds still, So if we feel that confident about it, it is a great bet. And live in-game betting, which I will talk more about in a minute, it is definitely the way to go. New users, you can bet $10 and get $125 in sports bonus if your first bet wins. Download the app now. Make a bet, a future bet, a now bet, an in-game bet, all the great stuff. Again, new users can bet $10 and get $125 sports bonus if your first bet wins. Check the website for terms and conditions at betparks.com. Download the app now in the App Store, Google Play Store, or at betparks.com. Use our promo code GOBIRDS. GOBIRDS. You must be 21 in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, a quick Hurts thought, and then we'll get some gambling here.
So
I'm impressed.
It was good. It was very good. So here's my Hurts thought, and this is going to be a longer discussion for another pod, but I want to introduce it and allow people time to think, right?
With you.
Okay. I think we've been looking at this Jalen contract the wrong way. Should the Eagles play hardball with Jalen? Think about this, right?
Oh, wow.
Hold on. Think about this, okay? Give me a minute. Ready? So we all love Jalen. Checks all the boxes. I fought for him in a week in Arizona saying he's better than Mahomes. You will not find bigger supporters of Jalen than me, James, and I'm sure the listeners. But the benefit of signing a player early is you get them at a good contract. There's no benefit for the Eagles to give Jalen top of the line money for we've said this before on the pod, and I believe it, but I think if we're being smart, I'm shifting my view on it. Jalen's a type of player you hand a blank contract to because he's that good, he's that dependable. Right. But here's the thing. Jalen's 24, right? The benefit of the Eagles paying Jalen now is that hopefully in 2 years, you're getting him at a rate where it's like, wow, he's the 12th paid quarterback in the league, right?
Exactly.
So if Jalen, this is just speculation. Let's say Jalen is saying, I want $55 million a year and I want, to be out in 3 years, right? From the Eagles' perspective, it's like, well, the benefit of us paying you before we have to is that we then control your rights for a long time. We get you at discounted rates on the back end of the deal. Like, that's why you sign players early. It's why they signed Mailata early. It's why they signed, Maddox. Like, Goddard got pretty close to the top of the market. But guys, like, that's what they do. We've seen them do it for years. Cornerbacks. Like, so I think that while it is correct that Jalen is someone you sign, I think there has to be a point where the Eagles are willing to walk away and say, look, Jalen, you're going to make $4 million next year. You've made whatever on your second year contract. We're offering you hundreds of millions.
Well, that's the side for Jalen, too. It's not just a one-way street.
That's what I'm saying.
Jalen is getting security a year earlier than he would get security.
Correct.
Like, that matters.
But I think if Jalen is the give and the take is this. The give is the Eagles are paying him early, right? Jalen's give is he has to sign. I think like the Eagles almost have to feel they're getting a team-friendly deal to do it.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
You've said the whole time that you thought that was how it was going to play out. So why not do it now?
Because I think the difference is, and Andrew Brandt brought this up yesterday, and there was a report that they're just beginning initial conversations.
Which seems unlikely.
I don't know. I might have misread this in Indy.
See, I don't think so. So Merrill Reese said something at the Eagles town hall that really stuck out to me about when, because we're like, oh, are we going to hear Jalen contract soon or is that? And Merrill said no. He's like, they're going to wait until all his free agency dust
I
is
heard him
settled.
say that. Yeah.
And he's like, they're going to give Jalen his day. He's like, it is a big deal. It's going to be Jalen's day. Everyone's going to talk about Jalen. And he's like, and that's the right way to play it. And I was like, Merrill, you're right. I was like, that's what's going to happen.
And they signed Carson June 1st.
They are going to give, they're going to wait. There's no rush. You got the draft coming up. They're going to, whenever it is, it will be all about Jalen because it's going to be, to the point you just made, it's going to be a good thing for everybody. It's going to be a day where Jalen comes out and said, I made all this money. I earned this, and that. And when the Eagles come out and say, we got our guy and he worked with us and we have a deal where this, blah, blah, whatever, like we're going to go, oh, wow. To your point, it's going to be the exact thing you said from the beginning.
I agree.
The deal's going to come out and we're going to say, wow, Jalen got paid. And wow, the Eagles got a good deal. Like, that's what's going to happen.
I agree with
that.
They're
just going to do it on a day where it's all about Jalen and the Eagles.
I think the question I'm asking people, and we'll talk about this, is like,
do you think it's more contentious?
Is there no. Is there a point you would not sign him this offseason? Like is there a point?
Look, there's a point with it. Like if he's asking for a fully guaranteed contract like Deshaun Watson or something, then yeah, of course you have to push back and you have to negotiate and fight.
Right.
But like, I'm not like.
Don't give me the full take yet.
I'm not making. Yeah. My basic idea is there are very few situations where I'm saying play on your last year of your deal, Jalen. That's what
okay. And I think that, I just want people to think about it.
Okay.
Is there a point where
I like this? We're setting this up. So think about it. We're going to talk more about this next week, especially because draft is a month away. Not going to be that many free agent signings, so we got some time.
And look, we'll be at Parks on April 1st. If you're listening to this and you think about it, I would love for you to call in and hear your perspective on it.
Cannot wait to be back at Parks doing shows. That's going to be awesome. Only one more week to go until we can get back in action there. All right, let's talk a little tournament. Look, I'll just lead with because it'll really help people for next year. But let me tell you, for next year when the tournament starts, remember this, and then we'll get into the 16 teams left and all that. Let's go through the bracket as we go. But here's the deal.
Here's the insider information.
And it's not that inside.
Yeah, it's a poor phrasing in this.
Yeah.
In this.
No, yeah, it's definitely not inside.
Yes, yeah. What I mean is, this is a good tip.
I was winning.
Yes.
Live in-game bet the first round of the tournament.
Well, here's what I love about this tip. Yeah. It's just funny. Like we've been talking about live in-game
like nonstop,
and now you're like, listen, guys.
No, but this is a specific thing because the first round of the tournament, there are a lot of favorites, and look, favorites lose, and it's important to watch the games. There's a key to this, like watch the game, see the flow of the game. Like, sometimes you're like, oh wow, this underdog is actually really good, and they're going to win, right? Watch the games. Many of these times, the favorites will have a bad shooting half, this or that or whatever. And the odds will swing in a very disproportionate way. Mm-hmm. Bet on favorites that go down early and the odds swing. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they're smart enough with the odds, or people are smart enough to not.
Well, also they start as heavy favorites.
They start as heavy favorites. Like if they're starts a 23.5-point favorite, you can never know like 6 points, 5 points, stuff like that. Or the money line goes from like minus 8,000 or whatever to minus 200 or whatever. Like there are real live in-game betting opportunities in the first round. So the Thursday and Friday of the tournament, especially when there's a lot of games going on. That's really the key because I tried it later. It wasn't quite as good the last 2 days of the tournament. When all these games are going on, you can overlap in games and particularly doing parlays with these because you got multiple good teams playing at the same time, put them together. I mean, Elliot knows. Like I was sending him.
I mean, again, I got like 4 or 5 screenshots from you. Were
dominating.
It's a good,
awesome. It's a great tip. You got to watch the games. But I'm telling you, it's a good tip.
I agree. Now, all right, here be my betting tip.
Good.
You ready?
I like a good betting tip.
So the Sixers have been hovering at around like plus 15, plus 1,300 to win it all, right?
And by the way, if you had taken our advice,
Embiid
a few weeks ago on Embiid, he's going to win the MVP.
Embiid went from like plus 500 when we said it. So
it was plus like 6 something.
Yeah, he's like minus 2 on.
I got him at plus 680.
So I'm opening the bet parts out.
I have plus 690 because I have 10 to win 69 on Embiid.
This is good value. So I woke up this morning and, I'm looking at like the general sense of where the Sixers are at. I think Parks has them at plus 1,000 to win it all. I think this is going to be your last chance to get them at plus money to win. I'm sorry, at plus 1,000 or more. I think they'll dip into the 9s, the 8s, that type of thing.
I think they will too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of 4 teams is going to win the title, and I don't think Denver's going to win, but I'm putting them in there because I think they have such a
they have a good chance of getting out the West.
They're going to get the 1 seed, exactly, and they have the biggest home court advantage in the sport by far. So I think that really matters. But it's either them. I mean, again, anything can happen, kind of.
Right.
I mean, the Bucks, the Celtics, the Sixers, or the Nuggets is almost definitely going to win.
And for what it's worth, I think the 3 teams you said first are the best 3 teams in the NBA. I think whatever team gets out the East is going to win it. But the other part of this too, and this is how you can use this to like glean information. So Embiid leaves a game last night. Everyone's like freaking out about it, right? Their odds, the Sixers' odds to win it dropped this morning. Like from, like again, like plus 12.
Really? It was so clearly we're taking them out by like
a
ton of points.
Well,
I'm saying take advantage. It's smart.
Yeah,
smart
what I'm saying is I don't like he's not injured.
That's
because otherwise it would have gone to like.
You're saying they didn't.
Correct. I'm saying if you were worried, the odds are telling you Embiid is okay.
Don't be worried.
Yes, that's the point I'm making. Like it's like when Hurts got injured and his MVP odds plummeted. That's not happening with the Sixers or his MVP odds, and that tells me that the bookies know he's okay.
It's a really good point.
Yeah.
See, look at this. After all these years, we're giving like real salary.
I think that's yeah.
Normally we're like parlays, have fun, because that is the thing, and I still stand by this. At least for me personally, like betting is fun. Like it is so fun to watch these games. We're about to talk about these tournament games real quick, where there's basketball on all night tonight, all night tomorrow, all weekend, and like. Let's be honest. I'm guessing a lot of people lost their champions. A lot of people's brackets
I had Auburn
busted.
Or not Auburn, Arizona.
Yeah, they're gone.
I'm aware.
I made fun of Elliot for that.
Thankfully, brackets are lame. So
brackets are lame, and you're probably screwed. And if you're not going to be screwed pretty quickly, gamble on the games. It makes them so much fun.
Yeah.
All right, quickly. We'll go through each of these games tonight, and we'll just give who we think is the best bet. Ready? Yeah. Michigan State is a -1.5 point favorite against Kansas State.
I think Michigan State.
So. I generally
strictly because of Ike.
Okay, so that's a bad.
Well, I'm being real about. I'm not going to
say strictly because of Tom Izzo, and I'm like, really good point. You say because of Ike.
Well, it's part of it. Two Michigan State guys.
All I'm saying is it's a 3 seed that's a +100 favorite. I mean, +100 underdog. So I think I'd take Kansas State.
Right.
I think
I like Michigan State on the record.
Arkansas is a 4-point underdog against UConn.
I like Arkansas.
I think UConn's really good.
Okay.
I think UConn is very good. So I would go UConn there. But
I'll believe you on that
talented
one.
And came up big win. Eric Musselman's a great coach.
Wow, you really do follow this.
I told you.
Look
Florida Atlantic versus Tennessee. Rick Barnes scares the hell out of me. Florida Atlantic's a good little basketball team.
So they're the one that just beat FDU,
yes,
right?
Yes. But they've not beaten anybody.
I was going to say, they barely beat
them. And Tennessee just beat Duke. I think I'd probably go Tennessee.
I would definitely go Tennessee.
Don't feel great about this.
I would maybe lay the 5 too.
Gonzaga is a 1.5 point underdog versus UCLA. I like Gonzaga in this one. I know they almost lost that last one, and UCLA's look good, but UCLA's still without their best
And they still
player.
got that tall guy with the mustache.
Still got the tall guy. Drew Timme has been there for 100 years.
It's going to be so funny when he has to go to the NBA.
He actually founded Gonzaga.
I kind of think you should just be allowed to play in college as long as you want. Like, let's be real here.
I'm so happy we got there. We got to an Elliott take.
Like, this guy, like, who cares if he plays the next 3 years? Would you agree with that?
No.
Okay.
That's an absurd take. I love it. All right. So anyway, we both agree that we both think Alabama's winning the title, right?
Yes, I'm in on Alabama.
And I like Texas as like an underdog to win. Okay. Final thoughts before we get out of here is I have to go do another pod.
Well, I think my final thought actually was just there. I think you should be allowed to play in college as long as you want.
It's an insane.
Because if you're good enough, you're going to the pros. You're not getting paid in college.
This is an absolutely. It takes away
like this guy that plays at Gonzaga.
It's like then it's the G League. It's the
well, there's still minors.
This is an insane.
I mean, there's not minors. There's still.
You're saying as long as you want to be a 35-year-old playing college.
Yeah, but how good would you be playing 30? Like, first of all, it's not going to happen. What'll happen is guys like this will play like 3 extra years.
Wrong. Guys who are 30 will be dominating the league.
I don't think they'll want to play.
People will dominate the NBA. Like,
but they'll be in the NBA. That's my point. Like, if you're good enough,
will be in the NBA. But there's a big difference between being just below the NBA and being a college player who's like Florida Atlantic or whatever. You're crazy.
I think the rule should be you can't like switch schools. Like once you're locked in your senior year at that school, you can only play for that school from there on.
What does that? It doesn't change.
Because then you can't be recruiting guys that went to the NBA and then they come back to college. Like once you leave, you're gone. But I think you should be allowed to stay as long as you want.
This is an absolutely
I like it.
Insane.
I don't think it would impact things as much as you think. Is my point.
I think it would totally.
I don't think guys would actually stay that
You're
long.
crazy.
This guy that's like probably not even that good, Timmy. He's like fine. Like he might stay a year or two, but ultimately he'll go play overseas. He'll go make money. You know.
No, but a lot of these guys can't.
But those guys that don't will leave are not good enough.
I think this is like an all-time crazy take.
Well, I just thought.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I really do.
Maybe I'll tweet.
I'm happy. You probably will, won't you?
I don't know if I'm watching the games tonight. Probably.
Why not?
Yeah.
Please. Actually, I want you to tweet this tonight, and I want to see the reaction.
Okay. I'll think about the phrasing.
Think about the phrasing.
I think it's pretty simple. You should be allowed to play in college as long as you want.
Yeah. Phrasing. Boom. Nailed it. I tweet this out tonight. I'm very intrigued to see the reaction. All right. My final thought is tweet that out.
Yeah, I was gonna say my mention's already pretty hot because of Trout, so maybe I'll take a week. But yes, I think maybe I'll wait for the college championship.
Mike, nothing lights your mentions up like Mikey T.
No.
All right, we gotta get out of here. We will be back next week. No show on Saturday, but then
April 1st.
Saturday, we're there. Shows next week, pods next week. MLB over under pod coming next week. More on Hurts contract. A lot more if anything happens over the weekend. If anything big happens, obviously.
Yes.
So, until then, he's IMJ. Boom.
All right, guys.
So I will
thank you. Shout out Drew, Vaughn, Sean,
love
Tommy,
you guys.
Paul.
My people.
Thank you for everybody.
You're the best.
We'll be back soon. Talk to you guys.
Bye, guys.